Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. We spoke on the phone. I was on the bus that flipped over. That's why my leg is... Sorry I'm late. It just takes me a while to get around. I wanted to come in and talk to you today because there's been a lot of talk. A lot of people are blaming the bus driver, the news, people online. I mean, the things they're saying, it's her fault. And I mean, there's talk of some pretty intense stuff, like life in prison. Some people are calling for her head. I just think that's unfair, and I wanted to come in and offer a different perspective, if that's okay, because these people weren't there on the bus. Most of the parents weren't even there. I mean, I know some of them were, but not all of them, and I was. So maybe what I have to say counts a little more, or at least for something. I don't have any siblings or anything. I was just there helping out. I was kind of forced into it, definitely at first. I never went to college. I barely finished high school, and I've just been getting into a lot of trouble. Nothing too bad, but you know, like a lot of small stuff over the years. It adds up, and I'm kind of a fuck up, to be honest. And I want to turn it around. I know this is my last shot at it because one more thing goes wrong, and I'm probably getting locked up. And I don't really care about doing better, but I definitely don't want to go to jail. So when the judge offers me community service, you know, I take it. Heavy duty, a lot of hours, but it's better than going to fucking jail. So at the high school, there's this like smaller school inside of it, which is it's like for special needs kids. You know, I say that because there's like actual kids there that are, but then there are some other kids that just need a little extra help. There's blind kids, crippled kids, and then there's this weird amount of deaf kids. I don't know, I feel like they took every single deaf kid in Chicago and put them in this one small part of this high school, but I don't know, I guess the school thought that like they had so many of these kids that like they should do something with them. Like, oh hey, we have so many, they're just deaf, they can still do stuff, let's get them all together and do something with them. But I don't know, but so through the court, I get in touch with this old teacher, and she tells me they started doing spelling bees with them. When I heard that kind of like blew my mind, because how? I thought the whole point of spelling bees was that you have to like hear the word and then spell it. Like, how does it work? Do the teachers just like maybe like sign the word and the kids just sign it back and not fuck up? I don't know. The whole thing makes no sense to me. But the judge says that if I do this for the rest of the year, that fulfills my hours. So I was like, fuck it, you know? Show me the deaf kids. And I really thought I was gonna hate it at first, but it wasn't that bad. It was actually great. Like they're just normal kids. They just can't hear anything. And getting to know them, it was really great and inspiring and all that shit. You know, some of them were actually born deaf and have never even spoken one word, which is like, wow. But then there were the kids who developed deafness, whether it was through illness or accidents or whatever. You know, they used to be able to hear and speak, but not anymore. They could remember music and laughter and just talking, and then it was just gone. I can't imagine going through that. Perspectives, you know? So I guess after a few weeks, I mean, the kids are super into it. And the superintendent of the school is like, hey, I know what we should do. Let's take their newfound confidence and make them compete like real kids. And they love it. They're like, they're not yelling, obviously, but they're like signing loudly how excited they are to do it. And they beg and plead and beg and plead. And finally, the teacher who's in charge of it all is like, okay. And they set it all up in like a week. And before you know it, we're loading all these kids onto this like big bus they had to rent out from a shipping company. I mean, we have to drive 50 miles south with all these super hyperactive kids and their terrified, stupid, proud parents. They can't even breathe. They're so moved. They've never seen their kids so happy and alive before. And I was just a small part of that. Okay, I don't take ownership of that. But I was there. They accepted me. That meant something to me, you know? So the bus ride there was long, but it was exciting because I don't think they realized. The kids, I don't think they realized what was going to happen when we got to the competition. I mean, the parents knew. I think most of them knew, at least, that the kids weren't ready, but no one was going to tell them that. You can't look one of those kids in the eyes and tell them no after you just told them yes. No one. I don't care who you are. You can't break that. Crush that dream. It's beyond the human capacity for cruelty. Which is why, when we got to that huge convention center in Braidwood with the crowd and the cameras and all the other kids, I mean, there was like a real shock. All right, this might sound a little weird, but I think maybe I spend so much time with them that I can tell their silences apart. Like, they're always more or less quiet, right? Because they can't speak, but there's this energy they have, all right, because they're still kids, right? So there's this liveliness in their silence. I know it sounds hippy-dippy, but I really do mean it. Usually I can feel them or something, I'm aware of them, but when we walked into the main hall and they saw all the people that were there for them to see them, real silence. I think it like dawned on them what they were about to do. I mean, this wasn't practice anymore. There was no safety net. They're far away from home, and there's this expectation, like this pressure to succeed. Because it's not for them. Not really, it's for the school. All that time and energy and money put into this for the publicity, the good press. So now it's not just the parents, it's the kids are also nervous, and man, I feel it. Feel it in the air. They're starting to freak out. I'm sitting there like an asshole, like, oh, what were we thinking? They're not ready, shit like that. And I mean, some of the kids are starting to cry. Some of them are tugging at their parents' coats. They want to leave. I mean, no one is quite sure what to do. This whole thing is starting to unravel, but one guy, Mr. Davis. I mean, it's Mr. Davis. He's this big, bald guy, really big bald guy. He's mean looking, but he's Susie's dad, and when he's with Susie, she's this adorable little girl who always wears these fuzzy pink earmuffs over her hearing aids. She's got it the worst. She's crying and freaking out, but Mr. Davis, he just scoops her up one hand and starts tossing her in the air. He's catching her too, obviously, but just one-handed, tossing her and catching her, tossing her and catching her. She starts to laugh. It is pure, innocent. It's the most beautiful sound in the world when she starts laughing. And everybody just kind of like relaxes and calms down, you know? The kids, the parents, the teachers, we're all just watching Mr. Davis play with his daughter, and we all just kind of know it's going to be fine. We're just here, you know? Fuck the school, fuck the board, the superintendent. Let's just have fun. And we do. They do. They have a great time. It goes so well. It's funny, man. I'm sitting there in the front row with all the parents, and I'm gripping my seat just as tightly. I'm just as nervous, like it was my kid up there. And maybe that's it, because I don't know. Every parent was there with their kid, right? But I had just been spending so much time with them that like it was almost like they were all my kids. I was just as nervous and scared and frightened, but when it all worked out better than anyone could have ever dreamed, I was just as proud. Not every kid does well, but it's okay. You know, most of them make it past the first round, but it really doesn't matter. Everybody, no matter who it is, everyone in that big-ass convention center, they clap for the kid when they get out. It's really touching, all that support, and the kids start to feel it. It just becomes an exciting thing, a fun thing again, and the mood shoots right through the roof. We end up winning. Not that anyone is keeping score by the end. Little Susie in her fuzzy pink earmuffs takes the gold. She's beaming like the sun. Mr. Davis is running around with her on his shoulders, and the kids are just... They won something. They won. Disney should... I mean, there's got to be like a movie in here or something, right? And I know it's sappy. At the end of the day, like, who cares? They do. Those kids and those parents, their lives are changed forever, even before them. And I think that's what did it. Because it was such a big, scary day, like an exhausting day. And it ended so well. There was this... You remember earlier when I talked about the different silences? We finished packing everybody back onto the bus. We start on that long drive back to Chicago. There was the peaceful silence, the good silence, because it was a good day. No one could argue it wasn't a good day. No one could possibly twist what had happened into anything other than simply serene. Which is why, when it was all over, it was like an invitation to fall asleep. It really was. We all did it. The kids, parents, teachers. It was everybody, not just the bus driver. Man, I remember I was really close. I was almost asleep myself, but I saw, I don't know exactly what happened, but I saw there was like a split second where I look out over the sea of people. I'm in the back of the bus. I can see through the heads. She starts to nod off. Something inside me starts to boil, man. I start to freak out. I don't know what to do. So it's so stupid. But everybody was asleep and I didn't want to wake anybody up. So I run. I just tear ass up the aisle, trying to make it to the bus driver in time. And I think, this is it. This is why I'm here. It's my one chance to do something. Be more than a fuck up. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I'm so close. I'm going to make it. Of course I don't. We crash, we go off-road, we flip over. I don't know why I thought that they'd all be signing in terror. But no, they were screaming. I'm on the ceiling, my leg is broken, and I landed next to Mr. Davis. It was so frustrating. At the service, everybody talked about how he broke his neck, right? And they said, oh, it was probably, painless. He probably didn't feel anything, but no one mentioned that he was holding those stupid fucking earmuffs. I mean, they're so small and fuzzy. I mean, he looked ridiculous, so that's probably why nobody said anything about it, but he saved his daughter's life. I don't remember anything after that. I passed out. I woke up in the hospital. You guys, no one questioned me, which I find really strange. So I wanted to come in and offer my 2 cents. I don't know if it helped or cleared anything up, but please understand, it's not her fault. Not really. It's nobody's fault. It's something that happened. Don't let it ruin the good. All the good. That's not what Mr. Davis or Susie or anybody else wants. They don't want the day to be remembered as a tragedy. And of course it will be, but not only that. Something happened that day, something magical. We need to hold on to that. Or else what's the fucking point?
Thank you for coming in. We'll be in touch.